Oh, hello there. You know, I love a good ghost story. One of my favorites being The Christmas Carol. Come to think of it, my favorite part of that whole story are those three ghosts. I loved that they each represented something different and that they were the perfect marriage between Halloween and Christmas. So, what better reason than to craft these ghosts on my channel? Today, we are going to be crafting the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. So, join me on this little creepy Christmas craft. For this project, each ghost will be made out of fabric, cheesecloth, felt, and fiberfill. The colors will be a muted green, red, and white, and the accessories for each ghost will be made out of paper and paper clay. Christmas present will be holding a gift. Christmas future, I'm hoping to make a candy cane scythe. And for Christmas past, I would love to have them holding a candle. And all of the ghosts will be resting atop a bed spring. So how do we plan on achieving this? Well, I got it right here for you. First off, I have, if I can pick it up, I have several pieces of lovely cardstock. I got the red, green, and like a beige. I picked these shades to like kind of go with the moodiness that I'm trying to capture. We don't want it to be too crazy. So, some yarn to match because we're going to be doing a little present. So, I think I'm going to do red for the gift, but if I end up choosing green, I'm going to go with, I'm covered on all bases. I have some leftover paper clay from last year, and it's still good. It's still nice and soft. We're going to be making the candle out of paper clay, as well as maybe the candy cane scythe. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping we don't run into any like fragility issues, but we're going to just roll with those punches if we do. And then I have some good old cheesecloth here. We're going to be staining this with coffee. I've only done that once before, so pray for me. I want these ghosts to look like they've been to hell and back. I mean, did they? No. They were all good in the movie. Yeah. And then I might weather it with like sandpaper or something. I'm sorry, there's like a really chunky squirrel outside my window and I'm really distracted. Look at him.
Oh, no, wait, come back.
I'm sorry, you had to see him. And then, of course, we have this regular cloth here. I'm thinking of doing a sheets situation where the cheesecloth will be the cloak, and then the ghosts will be made on the inside of like this regular cloth. So, got some like beige off-white color cloth for that. Then they're all gonna be resting atop of a bed spring. Interesting, right? So I saw a bunch of people on Pinterest using bed springs as like a pedestal type situation. And I really liked that. It gives off like this rustic and it gives off like a primitive look. I really like that. I that's kind of what I'm going for. It'll look like the ghosts are kind of suspended. I don't know. I think it's a really cute touch. I'm not sure how I'm going to be fastening the ghosts to these.
We're gonna figure it out.
So the first step of this whole process is I'm going to crumple some tin foil and just kind of squeeze them into the tops of the bed springs. This is going to just cover up that giant hole, and then I'll be able to put the ghosts on top. Look at that. Look how easy it was to turn those into cloth. It's that simple. Then I'm going to put some fluff over top of the tinfoil balls just to smooth out the texture. I'm going to have a little sip of coffee and then just fasten these fluff balls with some hot glue. I'm using a Sharpie so I don't burn my fingers. And all done. I'm just gonna pop these guys on just to make sure that they fit. Good morning. It is the next day, and now we are moving on to the cheesecloth step. So I have this cheesecloth right here. It's not completely white like a lot of cheesecloths that you might see. So this one, we're gonna see how much I need to dye this. So I have this, and then we have this. This is left over from my Mummy Disney costume. It's way more tattered. It has like that split apart look. And the other one looks more like I would have to rough it up a little bit. It looks like it's more opaque. I might do a layer of that and then a layer of this over the top. So we are going to be dyeing our cheesecloths with coffee, and we are going to be using Maxwell House. Let's get to brewing that coffee and dip in some fabric. This is how we should drink coffee, honestly. Just a big old trough bowl that we just... It's still warm, but... Oh wow. Oh. If it ends up being too dark, I can rinse it. I can run this under water and it should dilute.
5 minutes later.
Okay, it's been like probably 5-ish or so minutes. So I'm gonna wring her out and put it on the plate here. Oh my God. It smells really good. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna let it dry first, and then if it's too dark compared to this, because that does look very drastic, I can run it under some water, and then we'll go from there. I think I'm gonna dye the ghosts too. These are white. These are pure white for kind of no reason. So... Here we have the ghost and the cheesecloth all done. I know they look really dark in the camera, but they're actually not. They're a really nice light brown color. Let's move forward with making the stencils for the cheesecloth.
Tomorrow for sure.
Hello, everyone. You probably saw some sped up clips of me trying to make the cloak for the Grim Reaper-esque ghost. And man, it was just a mess. And thank God, you know, for my husband, he helped me break it down. We made several template things. I finally have it nailed down, but I didn't film it because it was long and it took like the whole day to figure out, and I was so frustrated, and the last thing I felt like doing was recording, and I almost quit. I almost was like, you know what? Forget this. This is stupid. But I didn't. We are here. Here is the little mock that I have. I'm going to do the arms, of course. I'm going to have like belled sleeves. We got there. And I just wanted to share that because I run into a lot of frustrating bumps with these videos because a lot of the times I'm trying something completely new that I have no idea what to do. And there's no like I'm sure there's a tutorial somewhere on YouTube, but I'm always doing something like too specific to type into Google. How to make a mini cloak for a little guy. What? Like, yeah. So,
Anyway,
had a lot of bumps, frustrations, but we did it. We made it through. Here he is. And this is the template I'm going with. I think we are ready to move on to the cheesecloth. My words of advice is test it. What is the saying? Measure twice, cut once. Cut twice. No. Cut it out twice. Glue it once. I don't know. I wish I could give you guys like a play-by-play on how I made this cloak, but essentially I figured out the measurements I would need so the cloak would drape in the certain areas I wanted, and then I cut out that stencil twice and I just glued it back to back. Cut holes for the face and then cut holes for the arms, and then I did obviously a separate stencil for those belled sleeves. Oh, this looks so cute. So now we're gonna go ahead with this coffee stained cheesecloth, and I'm going to just kind of place this around him and just kind of stick it in areas, let it hang down, and make sure it's not like covering up good, you know, any details or anything. For making the rest of the ghosts, I just used their stencils, placed that on the cheesecloth, and cut out those shapes around 4 times and doubled them up. So I glued 2 halves together and then kind of sandwiched the doll with the other 2 on top and just kind of glued that together. I did this because the cheesecloth is not that opaque and you could really see through. So doubling up helped cover the unwanted stuff. For my Ghost of Christmas Past, I just took the cheesecloth and just draped it over him and then glued it inside the arms and on the head and the chest because I really wanted his to flow away from him and almost just look like a floating carpet. The last thing I wanted to do for each doll was to fold that inner cloth over the first spring completely so that the inside fluff and the tin foil was completely sealed and protected. And I just fastened that down with some hot glue. Here they all are, all clothed, ready to go. Christmas present, Christmas past, and Christmas future. So, what we are going to be doing today, the remaining steps are making their items, and then of course putting their faces on. Let's start with present, because I'm excited to make a cute little box for this guy. I think instead of having his arms holding the gift like this, I think I'll have him just lifting up his little arm and holding a gift up. So let's start with that. I'm gonna need a super small ruler to cut out this teeny tiny present. So I think I'm changing my mind again about how this guy is going to hold the candle. I think I'm just going to have the candle sitting on top of his head rather than him like holding it with his 2 hands. I just don't want to lose the shape of his head and his two arms since they're very similar. And I feel like you just lose a little bit when you press him together like this. So I'm gonna make the candle just kind of like sitting on his head, like he's like kind of just balancing it. I think that'll look cute. It is now the next morning, and this candle is looking pretty cute, pretty awesome, completely dry. This guy is ready to paint. I'm just gonna let the bottom sit just a pinch longer because it's still just a little damp. Let's move on to the scythe now. I cut out already the templates for it, so all we have to do is just get to creating.
I'm a big man. A big, big man.
It is the final day of working on these ghosts, and I just have a couple of finishing touches to add to them, and then I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna keep it a little secret, and then I'm gonna do a big reveal. I'm so excited to show you guys. I'm really happy with how they turned out and just some of the choices and like changes I made. So can't wait to show you, and here's the big reveal. Hello everyone, welcome to the fun reveal of my 3 Christmas ghosts. We have Ghost of Christmas Past. You know, the candle is a little wobbly, but I assure you it's on there. The Ghost of Christmas Future and the Ghost of Christmas Present.
I've brought you a gift.
I'm obsessed. Is that a little overzealous? I'm obsessed with these guys. I think that they turned out so great. I had a lot of like just random little bumps with them as usual. I mean, like any craft. I'm glad I went with a more muted color palette rather than like intense electric reds and greens. I think it just matches the cheesecloth really well. I love the springs. Yeah, everything. I just did the candle just now, the little burning part, which is just hot glue. You can do a lot of really fun crafts with hot glue, like just the glue itself as the craft. It was a really fun Christmas spooky themed craft to pick. And The Christmas Carol is one of my favorite stories. The Muppets Christmas Carol is like my absolute favorite Christmas movie of all time. It always has been.
No Jesus for us, Mises.
Ever since I was a tiny little Muppet myself. So I've always loved the story of The Christmas Carol and thought it was like really fun and spooky and festive. So that's kind of why I picked it. But I hope that you enjoyed watching me make these ghosts. And I'm actually going to be putting these in my shop. So these will be in my shop on Etsy. You can either buy one or you can buy all three. The price differences will be all there. Most importantly, I hope you enjoyed watching this fun, festive craft. Least of all, I hope it inspired you to make something fun this year. I want to know in the comments below what your favorite Christmas story is, or Christmas movie, what have you. If you love spooky content all year, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to join the Spooky Fam. I'm gonna have more videos coming out this month before Christmas, so stay tuned for those. They will be much quicker, much quicker to be posted because they're gonna be much smaller. So stay tuned for those, and feel free to hit that like button if you enjoyed watching this really fun craft. And I hope that you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and stay spooky, my friends.